Hello and welcome to the 21st day of our 100-day challenge. Today we are going to take up the geography subsection, and we have divided this 10 days of geography challenge in 5 days. We will be taking on world geography and physical geography, and about another 5 days we will be discussing the Indian geography. So now let's begin with the first challenge of our geography subsection. You can find these PDFs on our website. You can download them. They are absolutely free for your practice, and you can also watch to the explanation on our YouTube channel. So we have already covered the modern Indian history, the polity and Indian constitution, and now today is the first challenge of geography. So for today, we are going to start with these physical geography and world geography topics, which are the Earth and its motions, the type of weathering, physical and chemical as well, the igneous rocks and their composition, and what types of rocks are classified as their formations, the shape of Earth and metamorphic rocks, type of winds, permanent, temporary, and local winds, formation of deltas from the rivers, carbon footprints, rainfall in Mansaram, and international dateline. So in case if you want to revise these topics, you can pause the video, revise them, and then we'll continue with the challenge. Sources which we have referred for these 10 challenges are the GC Leong Certificate Physical and Human Geography, and the basic NCERT of 11th class Fundamentals of Physical Geography, which you can find online also on the NCERT website. So let's start with today's challenge. First question is, which of the following constitute the motion of Earth in universe? So basically, the students of science, they have studied about the relative motions, whether this Earth is rotating on its own, then it is following the sun, the revolution of sun, and then the sun is rotating in the revolving in the rotating on its own axis and revolving in the Milky Way, and then again Milky Way is also the universe is expanding. That's why the Milky Way is also expanding and is in the motion. So let's read the explanations. It's about the motion of Earth. It moves with the Milky Way. This is also correct because the universe is expanding and Milky Way is also having a relative motion. It follows Sun in the Milky Way. Yes, Earth is the part of solar system. When the Sun is revolving in the Milky Way, then Earth is also revolving with the Sun. So the vector motion of the solar system is being added from the frame of reference of Milky Way. If we see the Earth, then we have to add the vector motion of the solar system into the Earth's motion. It has the precision movement. Yes, there is a topic of precision of equinox, which most of the science students and geography students are familiar with. So Earth is also having a precision movement. That is, it is very similar to the spinning top. That is Latu, which is revolving and it is having certain precisions around its axis. So it's kind of spinning top movement for the Earth that also includes in the motion of Earth in the universe. So all the options are correct regarding this MCQ. So option would be D, all of the above. Let's read the explanation. These are the 5 types of motions Earth has. So all the vectors and the motions, relative motions, motion of Milky Way in the universe, then the motion of solar system in the Milky Way, and then the types of motions of Earth. So they have given these 5 motions. These are moves with the Earth moves with the Milky Way in the entire galaxy as the entire galaxy travels through the universe. So the Milky Way is a galaxy and it travels through the universe. And there are most of the many of the theories, and the most popular theory is the Big Bang theory about the evolution of universe around 13.7 billion years ago. This universe started. It was a very small, dense, hot ball of uh, mass and which exploded by the Big Bang. So you should be familiar with those concepts as well. Then Earth follows the Sun, which moves through Milky Way. So this is again the motion of solar system. Precision movement, which we talked about earlier, the revolution of Earth around the Sun. So it revolves in 365 around 365 days. The Earth completes its one revolution. So revolution motion is also a motion of Earth, and then rotation on its own axis in about 24 hours. So these are 5 different types of motions associated with the earth. It depends upon which frame of reference we are looking from. If we are looking from the point of view of universe, so all these motions vectors we have to add, and if we are looking from the local references like solar system or Milky Way, then accordingly the vectors will be subtracted. So this figure is all about the precision of Earth, and this is the axis of Earth, and the precision happens somewhere the rotation into the rotation of the Earth. So this was an illustration. Now let's move on to question number 2. Which of the following are the example of chemical weathering? So chemical weathering are the weathering which is caused by the chemicals. So they act, for example, the action of acids, and then if we dissolve the salt in the water, so it is again having breaking the salt into the different ions. So that is also a chemical chain. So we have to identify which of the following is chemical chain and which is not the chemical chain, means it's a physical chain. Decomposition by organic acids, yes, for example the acid rain and any organic acid which decomposes the matter, that will be considered as a chemical weathering. And oxidation, obviously oxidation of mineral by moisture, this is also, rusting is also a chemical weathering. Rusting of iron, rusting of copper rusts and it forms a green layer on the copper statues, which most of us have seen, and you can see popularly asked questions about the corrosion. So corrosion of iron and corrosion of bronze and copper, so you should be familiar about this. Frost action on the rocks. Frost is the external action which is not a chemical action, so it is kind of physical weathering on the frost. Uh, is The water is frozen on the rocks, and the action on the rocks, then as the water freezes, it increases the volume of the ice, and then there are the cracks in the rocks. So these kind of phenomena are concerned with the physical weathering, not the chemical weathering. So option would be 1 and 2 only, they are concerned with the chemical weathering. So let's see, the option is 1 and 2, B only. Frost action, as we have already discussed, is repeated wetting and drying repeated wetting and drying are the process of physical weathering. So physical weathering also includes the action of roots of trees we have seen. So these are all the physical action, the weathering by the physical action. While the chemical action, the oxidation of minerals in the rocks by the moisture and the chemical weathering. Another process of chemical weathering would be the decomposition by the organic acids. And this figure illustrates different chemical weathering. For example, changes by acid rain, and if some minerals dissolve in the water, those kind of changes. Then we are seeing this anthropogenic excessive emission of carbon dioxide, that is also going to change the compositions of different rocks, and the dissolution of carbon dioxide in the ocean water. Then organisms, they emit certain kind of chemicals which are going to which are going to react with the atmosphere and induce some chemical weathering. And then the oxidation of rocks and minerals. Let's move on to the question number third. In context of igneous rocks, so these rocks are formed by the cooling of magma and lava, and there are like, they can be formed inside the earth and can be formed from the outside, cooling of magma outside the surface, outside the crust of earth. So there are different categories of these igneous rocks. So first option is, they are formed through the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. This option is correct. Igneous rocks may form with or without crystallization. This is also true. For example, we have seen the crystallized formations inside the earth. For example, if we see that diamond is having a wonderful crystalline structure, so igneous rocks have these kind of examples where there is crystallization, and some are basalt and all, where their strong crystal structure is lacking. The igneous rocks formed below the earth's surface are called plutonic rocks. This option is also correct, and there are two types basically, the plutonic and volcanic. So those igneous rocks which are formed uh, which are formed inside are called plutonic, and which are outside are called volcanic rocks. So they are, these igneous rocks have this kind of classification. Igneous rocks is formed through the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. Igneous rocks may formed with or without crystallization, and examples are like graphite, then quartz, and then diamond, either below the surface as intrusive or plutonic, or exclusive, the above the surface of Earth, that are called the volcanic igneous rocks. So this was about igneous rocks and their formation and solidification of magma and lava. Now let's move on to the question number 4. With reference to the shape of Earth, which of the following statement is are correct? Earth is an oblate sphere, means it is oblated, spheroid, having oblated structure at the poles, but it has a rays at south pole and depression at north pole. This is not correct. It has rays on north pole. So by logic also, if we see that north pole is oblated and south pole is depressed, so it is very easy to remember. Only first option is correct, that Earth is oblate spheroid. And let's read the explanation, the factual data about Earth. Earth is an absolute oblate asteroid with 18-meter rays at North Pole and 26-meter depression at South Pole. So they have calculated the depression and rays at North Pole and depression at South Pole. Earth's equatorial diameter is about 12,756 kilometers, while polar diameter is, so at equator it is 12,756, we can see, and at the poles their diameter is about 12,714 kilometers. That is, its equatorial diameter is more than the polar diameter, and equatorial circumference is around 40,077 kilometers, while polar circumference is 40,009 kilometers only. Total surface area of Earth is 510 million square kilometers, out of which around 29% is covered by the land, while 71% is water. Sometimes UPSC ask you these percentage, and they ask you out of the fresh water how many percentages, how much percentage is being is preserved as a glacier and how much is with the lakes. So you should be aware about the percentage and the chronology, increasing and decreasing about the freshwater content of different bodies. So let's move on to question number 5. Which of the following is classified as the permanent wind? Trade winds, westerlies. Monsoon is a temporary wind. It is a seasonal wind. So monsoon is obviously not the option. Westerlies, easterlies, and trade winds, they are constantly flowing in the atmosphere. So that's why option would be 1, 2, and 4 only. That is C. So let's read the explanation. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are permanent winds, and these blow constantly throughout the year in particular direction. Should be aware of the diagram in which there are different cells like polar cell and ferrule cell and Hardy cells, and these cells, the circulation of winds are there, and these polar fronts, horse latitudes, and in ITCZ, that is intertropical convergence zone, is there. So these are different zones where these winds meet. So these are all kind of westerlies, easterlies, and trade winds are permanent winds. While the monsoon is a seasonal wind, while the winds, while seasonal winds change their direction in different seasons. For example, the monsoon in India, and then there are local winds like Lu and Chinooks. So you should be aware about this classification of winds in different types. That is permanent, temporary, seasonal, and then local winds. All India Full Mock Test Prelims Test Series 2018. We are going to conduct 5 full mock tests. This is absolutely free. You can join. The seats are 200 seats in Delhi, and you are allowed unlimited number of attempts online. So if you are in Delhi, you can inform your friends, spread the word, and you can join in groups. And do come because it is free, and we hope that it will provide you the desired value addition and uh, revision opportunity for you. It is absolutely free. You can just register. You can just mail us on this following email, or you can contact us on the phone number given in our website for the registration to this full mock test series. It will be conducted in the month of April and May of 2018, just before prelims. So utilize the opportunity. Now let's move on to the question number 6. Which of the following is not true, not an example of metamorphic rock? So we have already discussed about the graphene, the granite, its formation as an igneous rock. So first option is definitely the igneous rocks, while other marble, slate, anthracite, these are metamorphic. Metamorphic means those rocks which undergo through the changes of, so they can be sedimentary and igneous rocks undergoing a change. So that is metamorphosis and change. A metamorphic rock is a result of transformation of pre-existing rocks. The original rock is subjected to very high heat and pressure, which causes obvious physical and chemical changes. So both physical change and chemical change can occur while the formation of this metamorphic rock. So the examples of metamorphic rock include the anthracite, quartz, and marble, slate, granite, genus, and cis. So anthracite is a type of coal with the high carbon count. So anthracite coal is one of the purest form of the coals. That is also a metamorphic rock. That is, it has undergone the changes, chemical and physical changes in the original rock structure. The marble is a metamorphic rock that is formed from the sedimentary rock limestone. So from the sedimentary rocks also there is a formation. And igneous rocks, we have already discussed about the formation, that is, they are formed by the igneous rocks are formed by the cooling of magma and lava. And the examples includes like pegmatite, diorite, and gabbro, and other examples are like kimberlite, quartz, etc., basalt, so pumice rocks. These are igneous rocks. So let's move on to question number 7. Which of the following is are among the causes of shrinkage of delta? So most of the causes, like man-made causes, anthropogenic causes, which are resulting in the shrinkage of delta areas in the eastern India. So there is one popular topic as to why eastern flowing rivers are forming deltas and not the west flowing rivers. This is also one of the most popular topics of UPSC. So you should be aware about that also. But timing, we are discussing this, why there is a shrinkage in the eastern delta. So the construction of large dams, obviously this is induced by the humans. Groundwater mining, that also leads to the reduction in the delta area. So let's see how. The option would be C, 1 and 2 only, both 1 and 2. The proliferation of large dams that starve the deltas of sediment. So if the humans are forming large deltas, they are depriving the rivers, the deltas, from the sediment flow. So that deprives the deltas of sediment, and which results in the shrinkage of the delta. And then groundwater mining, that causes the land compaction, and artificial leaves that affect the river courses have been responsible for subsiding of major Indian deltas, including Ganga and Brahmaputra delta, Krishna, Godavari, Brahmani, and Mahanadi. So these deltas are shrinking due to anthropogenic man-made changes, which are as following that we have discussed above. You should be aware about these questions also. Consider the following statements about the international date line. We have seen the in the famous figures many other times that zigzag international date line which passes from nearby the country of Japan. So first option is it is not straight line and it follows a zigzag pattern. Yes, this international date line is zigzag because it uh, divides the earth into different time zones, and so it has to be zigzag, otherwise one same country is going to get two different time zones. That's why this international date line, the imaginary date line, is being made as a zigzag line so as to include or exclude particular countries in different time zones. It roughly passes through the middle of Atlantic Ocean. This is incorrect because it is opposite of what Greenwich is. So it's almost 180 degree, it's 180 degree opposite to the Greenwich, and it divides the Pacific Ocean, not the Atlantic Ocean. So second option is not correct. So answer would be A1 only. Let's read the explanation with this wonderful diagram. International dateline is an imaginary line of longitude on the Earth's surface located at about 180 degrees east or west, whatever way you can see, the exactly opposite of what Greenwich is. So if we travel eastwards or westward from the Greenwich, exactly opposite of Greenwich, we will find this international date line, but it is not fixed. It is a sort of zigzagging its way through the bunch of small islands and territories which I have discussed, that in order to provide them with one continuous date line, this imaginary line has to be zigzag. It passes through the middle of Pacific Ocean roughly following the 180-degree longitude, but deviating to pass around some territories and island groups. So groups having so this is Japan, where the sun rises first, and this is one of the reasons, because it is just near to the international date line, and Earth is rotating from west to east. So should be aware about these minute topics about the international date line and Greenwich also. Greenwich is a straight line passing through 0 degree, so 0 degree latitude longitude, and these longitudes are part of great circles, which you can see that they are the part, each and every longitude is all a half part of the great circles. Great circles are those circles which are having their centers at the equator. If you uh, imagine a small circle, the circle through these longitudes, then every circle's center passes through the center of the earth, while the latitudes are not. Only equator, the latitude of equator is a great circle. Other latitudes are smaller circles, and concluding almost with almost zero radius at pole, and the radius of equator at the equator. So only equator is a great circle among the latitudes, others are the smaller circles. Which of the following sources of energy has lowest carbon footprint? So while we consume the energy, that means there is lowest production of carbon dioxide in production of these energies. So which energy has lowest carbon footprint? Coal and petroleum are absolutely out, because in procuring these, in burning these, in procuring the energy from these sources, we have to burn the coal, we have to burn the petroleum, and there is a lot of emission of carbon dioxide. So their carbon footprint is going to be significantly high than the other non-renewable sources, for example solar energy and nuclear energy. But so the fight is in solar and nuclear, if we see in these options. So 50% is obviously eliminated, that is coal and petroleum. The fight is in solar energy or whether nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, as we can see that procuring the uranium, procuring this fission material isn't easy. It has to be cleaned, it has to be transported, it has to be enriched, it has to be reprocessed, and then it can be enriched and used in the nuclear reactor. So in that way, a lot of in the transportation, in enriching, a lot of energy is required to make it fit, for the nuclear energy production. So there is already such a large carbon footprint related to the nuclear energy. So that's why this nuclear energy is not as clean as solar energy. Solar energy, we are directly getting the energy from sunlight. We are going to convert it, so it has lesser carbon footprint than the nuclear energy. Although we can argue that we need the production of this solar panels, but that is another thing. This cost benefit ratio is maximum in solar energy. That's why this option. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind have lower life cycle carbon dioxide emission than not just the coal and petroleum, but from the nuclear power also. Although nuclear fission does not directly produce greenhouse gases, the entire nuclear fuel cycle, as we have discussed, that fuel fabrication, transportation, reactor construction, the fuel reprocessing and waste storage have sizable carbon footprint. So we cannot avoid that there are a lot of emissions while the production of nuclear energy. It is not one of the cleanest energy, as we have seen. So which of the following is are among the reasons for the highest rainfall in Mansaram in Meghalaya? So it was earlier, it was Cherrapunji, which is very close to Mansaram. So Mansaram has the highest rainfall in the world. So the reasons are that they are it is located in the Khasi Hills, where these moist airs from West Bengal, the Sea of West Bengal, they rise and they just get this uplift and then condense over the area of Mansaram, where there is a heavy rainfall throughout the year. So this convergence of warm moist air from Bay of Bengal, this is the correct reason over the Khasi Hills. And the alignment of Khasi Hills, if you see from the diagram, the Khasi Hills are from west to east. Their alignment is like this, and the wind is coming from the West Bengal. The moist air is coming from there, and it blocks that wind and it provides the uplift of air there. So that option is also helping in making this Mansaram as one of the highest rainfalls. The presence of various winds in upper atmosphere. This is also true because these winds, what do they do? Throughout the year, they provide uniformity and they help in condensation of these moist airs. So all the options seems correct. All the options are helpful in production of highest rainfall in Mansaram. So, in case if they are asking you a mains question regarding why Mansaram in Meghalaya is one of the highest rainfall areas, you should be able to illustrate these points with logic, with diagram of Khasi Hills and with the diagrams of arrows of these upliftment of air from the Bay of Bengal to the Khasi Hills, the condensation. You can present a wonderful diagram in your mains also. So this way we are preparing for our mains and optional questions as well. And this, friends, this concludes the 10 MCQs regarding the first challenge of our geography. Today is the 21st day of our 100-day challenge. Hope you have benefited from this initiative, and you will be able to follow us on YouTube and our website for more such interesting MCQ challenges. Guys, let's read this explanation. The three reasons are cited are like warm, moist winds of northward air of Bay of Bengal during the monsoon, which covers an extensive area, but are forced to converge into the narrower zones over the Khasi Hills, thus concerning the moisture. So we have already discussed the alignment of Khasi Hills, that is east to west, and places directly in the path of airflow from Bay of Bengal. So it produces significant uplift. Finally, the uplift over the Khasi Hills is virtually continuous in the monsoon period because the lifted air is constantly being pulled by uh, vigorous winds in upper atmosphere. Hence, the rainfall is more or less continuous. So, guys, this concludes the 10 MCQs of our geography first day of our geography challenge. We hope you have benefited and stay tuned for more such challenges. Have a good day.